So I've been saying some really truthful stuff, and I'm not going to stop now. So with remembering the whole why I'm writing the song for my mom, which it's not exactly a song that's like, that's like, but the point is I came across like those two memories, the memory of, remembering when I almost drowned, falling through ice, and the other memory of the eagle, the American eagle that was in the park. And the reason I'm making this video, I'm probably going to title it to you, Demi, because there's something else that I want you to hear something. I don't know why I want you to hear it, but I want you to hear it. That's what I keep saying to myself. It's like I don't even know if I want to make this video or not, and yet I'm still here making this video. Because there's certain things going through my head about even the police and the fire department showing up the other day, and all the stuff that is like originated from, and it's like, and yet again, it's like, somebody wants to sit there and play a game. There are people not playing games right now with the fact, and no matter how many times I mention it, it's like, hi, nice to meet you. I was born Jesus Christ. Who knew? You know what I'm saying? It's a little much, okay? Some people can't choose what and who they are born as, okay? That's the end of the freaking, that's it. And that's why I'm bringing up these other memories right now. The memory of when I ran out in front of the car and got hit by the car when I was like 2 years old, okay? Right before that happened, and this is an important piece to this. Right before that happened, there was a voice, and the voice that I heard telling me to run now, you got it now, go now. And I was sitting there like, that's what I'm trying to say, and I brought this up way back then. The voice was almost identical to the voice of one of the angels that came and helped me put me back in my body. All right? That's part one. And that's also that is part one. All right, part one of this video is the fact that the voice that I was hearing telling me to run out because I had this, go now, was identical to one of the angels' voices that were putting me back into my body. Okay? That's part one. Those same angels came back to that scene. Those same voices came back to ask me why would I say something like that, because that was the truth. The truth was that the one voice sounded a lot like the one angel's voice. But that's why I'm saying the mimics. That's why I'm bringing up the other part of that, which is not that, which is the next story of the eagle. Now, at that time, I had a few dreams, but that does not change the two encounters. Okay? The first encounter was the bird flying like above us. Like, that was it. This is real. This was not the dreams. Okay? My mother bringing me to the park, the bird flying above us. the next time that she goes to bring me to the park, the bird landed right there. Like, the bird was less than 15, 20 feet from us. My mother, like, getting behind my mom, and, like, freaking my mom's like, Anthony, get behind me. And then it's like, I was able to hear the conversation the bird was having with my mother at that point. I was able to not only approach that bird and have my own conversation at the time, that's why I'm saying it's like there's certain things that were said during that conversation that I don't even know if I should go into or not go into. There was the bird's personality. Somebody was able to possess the bird. That person was also not the person, like, in other words, I was able to speak through God. I was able to speak to God through that encounter. But the person who was actually controlling the bird, who was possessing the bird, that's what I'm saying. That was not That was a demigod that was doing that. The conversation, and this is why I'm saying, Demi, like, I don't know why I want you to hear this. I don't know why you're so in my head right now. It's like, maybe, you know what, I'm not even going to go into all the rest of the shit but I am saying that it was that conversation. Like, I was able to pet a bald eagle, a wild-ish bald eagle. Like, this was not like there was no safety precautions there, man. I could hear the freaking argument that was going on inside that bird's head, and yet freaking I still was able to freaking, like, literally, like, it was like, it's okay, Anthony, it's not going to hurt you. Like, it was like, my mom is standing 10 feet behind me at this point. Yo. Wow. That's why it's wow. Because that bird had its own personality. Like, at the end of that conversation, they started to lose the possession, and they said, Anthony, you got to back up. You got to go now, away. Right? So I had to back up. But before all of that took place, I was able to pet that bird. The next part of that is maybe a couple years later. Long forgotten, so, like, not thought of, that I stood face to face with this bird. Now this bird was behind its enclosure again. And a few years passed, and those memories were not there in my head. When I remembered all this, I remembered the time that there was a few different people. The fucking, and if I mention the fucking name, that's what I'm saying. It's like, wow, man. They were trying to figure out the story that I had completely forgotten about. So what they were doing was they were taking fucking pieces of bread. This is outside the fucking park enclosure. This is the enclosure of where the bird was. They were taking pieces of bread, and they were spitting in the bread and rolling it up and throwing it to the eagle. And the bird wasn't eating, and that's why, you know what? It's freckle fat. It's freckle fat. It was fucking one of those fucking, wow. And a few others. That's why it's like so I didn't want to be the fucking one. You know what's fucked up about that story is that freaking. So they're like, oh, blah blah. I'm like, what are you guys doing? And then they were like, oh, well, we're trying to figure it out. It's not going to hurt the bird. Blah blah blah. We're trying to figure out how you talk to the bird. I didn't even remember this, and this was only a few years after it happened. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, you can't talk to fucking birds and blah, blah, blah. And blah. They're like, oh, well, you did it and blah, blah, blah. It didn't even fucking register in my head. The story wasn't even registered in my head. They're like, we've been trying to freaking get it to talk to us. We've been trying to get it to talk to us. So they said, why don't you take... So the minute they had a piece of bread, they're like, spit in the bread. I'm like, no. I'm like, freaking no. They're like, spit in the bread. I spit in the bread. They roll it up. They chuck it into the freaking cage. Now, there's a few different bowls of bread in the freaking cage, right? The minute I did that, Freckle Fat fucking told on me. I'm so sick of people. I'm so sick of people. A woman comes up to me and says, oh, we know what you're doing. You're trying to poison the bird. Bullshit, it was only spit. We know what you're trying to do. We know what we know what you're up to. Man, fucking, let me tell you something. The one fucking... That's why I didn't even... You know what, man? And you wonder why I blocked out every fucking thing in my mind? Because of that. Because of all of every fucking story of that caliber. The bird wouldn't fucking talk to nobody else. You know something? It's like, and then I think of the bird passing away years later. Supposedly one of the birds passed away, and that it's like none of these stories even somewhat registered in my head then either. It was just a feeling of sadness that, I know that there was two of them and now there's only the one. Had nothing to do with fucking throwing the bread there, which only had spit in it. Because they were trying to fucking get the bird to talk to them. Didn't even realize that was what they were trying to do. Because I didn't know anything about this type of... Wow. It's like fucking... You know what? I could be wrong if it was... I know that the minute I did it, the minute I listened to these fucking idiots, the minute I listened to them, the one fucking idiot, I know that one of the fucking idiots, I don't know if it was Freckle Fat, I'm not exactly sure, went and got somebody, and then the fucking person started to yell directly at me, fucking saying, oh, we know what you're trying to do, and blah, blah, blah. And it was like, bullshit. Wow, dude. Wow. Dude, wow. Wow. More fucking bullying, bullshit, crap. These people were doing this for fucking days, found out. You know something? It's like, that's why it's like all the other stories, and then this, and then that, and then I'm going to go get fucking, because this is why I'm fucking, I am so tired of this shit. You know, I think the reason I'm saying all this is because it's like, it goes back into the mimics, and it goes back into more of the, it's jealousy, man. It's just like why do the mimics mimic? Because they don't seemingly, like, they have their own personality, but it's because they don't have, it's like, I don't know what else to fucking say. I don't know what else to fucking say, man. I don't know what else to say. I know that the fucking videos that seemingly are like being beamed into my fucking phone. It's all about hurting one another. It's all about fucking, it's like, yo, man. Wow. The one girl, I know for a fact, the one girl has got to be around about my age. And there's a whole fucking backstory about fucking, this person's this age and blah, blah. And I'm just like, yeah, okay, whatever. Then there's the neighbor. And I'm saying, wow, this is not the neighbor now. This is the neighbor back then. And before I even had a chance to bring it up to the freaking neighbor's taken off. This is fucking so crazy, man. It really is. It's so freaking crazy, man. It's like I don't know what to, I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say. That's how fucking crazy the whole fucking thing is. So fucking crazy. It's like, that's why I said the first story first, is that the day of me running in front of that car, it's not like I wasn't doing it prior. I just never did that before. Okay? But I was thinking it, and I was like, you know, let me get on the other side of the car. Maybe the wind stronger on the other side of the car? This was a very simple, like, thought process of a little tiny kid. Like, I'd always get up to the car, like, because there would be a breeze. That's what I'm saying. It's not like the car was going like super fast either. I remember counting on my fingers, like timing, like, by the time he gets here, this is how many fingers, blah blah blah. Like, it was all simple. It was way more complex. That's why I'm saying it's like to just think that the day that I got hit by the car, and just knowing, like, I went up. I mean, I went up, and that car was not going that fucking fast. Like, I don't know. I remember turning and seeing, like, I didn't make it far enough, and I remember seeing the bumper right there. Like, how I went up in over the top of the car, and then fucking went up into the fucking air, and fucking, like, remembering, like, fucking coming down, like, fucking right before fucking cracking my head against the curb. Like, that is all fucking wow. Before blanking the fuck out and becoming like a little orb. Fuck. Oh my god, my mom would love this. Like, fucking, I could tell my mom this story all the time. I didn't get a chance to tell my mom that I remembered about the eagle. That's why the whole thing is so, like, there are people that that's why I, Demi, it's like, It's like I don't. They already know things that are going to be said. All it is just it's like no matter what I say, they'll twist it no matter what, no matter what. This was said back then. That's why it's all of it. It's all of it, man. It's freaking all of it, man. I think about what's going on in freaking, it's just like me saying to myself, it's like, oh, it's like nobody wants to talk about the math problem. Nobody wants to bring up the fucking math problem, right? In the amount of time since that math problem has occurred, which was way back in what fucking was that first grade, some near the summer of first grade, or the fucking summer of what, like fucking not even the summer of second grade, like no, it was probably the summer of first grade into second grade. Holy shit, man. The fucking math problem that caused a lot of money to be lent, and then a big fucking commotion, and a crazy interest rate, and all this other crazy ass shit. And then it's like, wow, man. It's like, you know what China did as almost like a fuck you? All those ghost cities that are out in China, that was China. Tell me if I'm wrong, China. Tell me if I'm wrong. You know what? Even if you told me I was wrong, I wouldn't even believe you. Wouldn't even believe you, because I already know. Those ghost cities that they built in China, that was all built from the nickel and diming of that math problem. The amount of money that America would have had to do the same thing, but couldn't, due to whatever fucking, I want to say internal warfare, because people couldn't get it together and fucking pull together as a fucking team. China was like, watch what we'll do. So while everybody in America was running around fixing potholes left and right over and over and over again, China built fucking cities and don't even have people living in them. I guarantee they used the exact amount of money that we went and built fucking pothole after pothole fix. They took pothole money and they built entire fucking cities that nobody lives in. Basically, nobody lives in. Yeah. Tell me if I'm wrong, China. Tell me if I'm wrong. Who's Anthony? People are like, this is such a fucked up. It's like, it's just like the whole, and this is why I'm also saying it's like, it's like there's different. Oh man. In other words, before the Mr. Perez thing, before meeting Tupac, there was me being hit by the car. That's why that's important. Because before anything else, it was that voice that mimicked one of the angels' voices that guided me back to my body. That was able to mimic the angel. You didn't hear about that on fucking on Oprah Winfrey, did you? I met Oprah, but you didn't hear about it on an Oprah show. Or the Ellen DeGeneres show, or any other fucking talk show, because suppression of the real Son of God. That's why it's like even the other side, it's like when I start saying, it's like, oh well, my first friend was a spider. That happened that happened after me being hit by the car. That happened. So there was already that. There's a reason why, and I've said this and I'll say it again and I'm saying it again and I'll probably say it again. There is a reason why I would say probably 70 to 80%, if not more, of all of those ancient sites throughout all of history were covered on purpose. All of those ritualistic sites. The Mayans, the Egyptians, so on and so forth. The pyramids they found everywhere were all covered up by the people who built them and abandoned by the people who built them. Because just like I say, and I'll say it again, like Pet Cemetery, they never do come back the same. What I understand about that is that although it doesn't start that way, that there are ways to bring back people, and if the spirit's strong, and if the kings are, if the it's not even so much if the kings are great. It's the overall. It's that the life continues, and then wow. There's so much of the wow. Just wow. That's why it's just I don't know what else I want to say here. I don't know what else to say. That's why those stories were important, but then for some reason it's like you're in my head at this point. Like I'm trying to sit there and say like it's like that's what I'm saying. It's like they were already trying to fucking manipulate. Could you really honestly like could you have pictured a 10-year-old boy that taught people stuff they had been trying to figure out for fucking 300 fucking years? They knew they knew how to make fucking they knew how to make the fucking that's why that was on top of the fucking pyramid. That's why all that stuff is over in Egypt. But it's also what fucking caused Egypt to fizzle out. That's why so many other things it's like oh well we invented it first and we invented it first. It's just like if I went into China and said freaking hey look, you might have had certain technologies first, but they didn't reverse engineer what they had come across. That's they didn't do it the way that we did it. That's